Hey guys, it's one of those nights. I got a few things to unbox, 2 or 3 boxes or so, and because they're left over from the last unboxing, so I just wanted to wrap that up and get that over with. And then I wanted to show you guys some of these Del Prado guys, Del Prado soldiers. So I figured I'll pull some off the shelf, and then we can show them off on camera, and I'll talk about them a little bit, and maybe answer some questions later on. Awesome, let's get into it. All right, so here we go. Picked up some boxes. These are the guys that we're gonna open up today. And I have to take this one out of the cardboard. But let's just get started right now here. I'll put myself in this squeaky little box over here. I mean, squeaky little camera mount. Let's see what we got here. I think this is actually Del Prado this time. I know I said last time we had Del Prado guys, but I think this time we actually do have some. Let's see. All right, what do we have? I have no idea what these are. I stockpiled these like weeks ago, and I don't remember. I do know that there is some Del Prado. Oh yeah, look at this. Beautiful. Wow, I just love some of these Del Prado models are just out of this world. Okay, Saber's a little bent, unfortunately. Boy, oof. Oh man, I'm trying to like not snap this thing, but I can't help myself. I gotta try to straighten this. I try to straighten it out. I mean, how do you even pack this? Like, if you I mean, the straw is even useless. Like, the straw is actually giving it leverage so it can bend even easier. So that's kind of... Anyway, so this guy is a field officer from the Dutch militia of 1815. So I actually did... that's interesting. I just... My Del Prado showcase that I did... one of the showcases was on this guy. This carbineer of the Dutch-Belgian light infantrymen. So their uniforms kind of like match a little bit. They have that blue and the Holland orange, the Prince of Orange. That was like the national color. So that's really cool. Really a beautiful model. I mean, really for just like a soldier that you just buy off the shelf. You know, as a collectible. It's pretty cool. Awesome. All right, let's move right along here. Don't need this. I have a feeling this might be a vehicle, because I know I'm missing some vehicles that I know I ordered. I just don't know where they actually ended up. Hopefully somewhere. Hopefully I get them. Okay. Empty. What is this? I don't even know what this is. Okay. This actually is probably not... What is this? Oh my goodness. Ah, okay. So it is like some stuff. It's always a little sketchy when there's like a Ziploc bag. It could be anything in there. Take the box. Could even have a boat. You know how much we wanted a boat. You guys remember that from Family Guy? God, that used to be big, huh? Family Guy, that episode when they're given a prize, or they get to choose between like the box, the mystery box, and then Peter's like, "Ooh, we should take the mystery box. Could have a boat in it." Either the mystery box or a boat. So Peter, being the genius that he is, selects the mystery box, and they get bupkis. Actually, I don't remember what they get. They get something. Oh my god, this is like way harder to open than it should. Oh my god, what is this paper? What is this, mahogany? Ah, it's the paratroopers. Yes. Okay. You know what I thought was really odd about this model? Like, when you look at it from this angle, this like forearm looks way too long, doesn't it? Look at that. It's almost like, you know, in the movies when they have an actor with a fake hand and then he's like holding the stick with the fake hand on it. That's what this looks like. Then from the side, it looks like kind of fine, right? Like from the back, like, yep, that makes sense. And then you go from here and it's like, whoa, why is that arm so long? Anyway, this is a paratrooper from King & Country. I forgot what the set is for this. You know what's really actually frustrating about King & Country is when you go on the King & Country website, you can't actually look up retired sets. Like, they have a small selection of retired sets that they still have on the site where you know, they have like some quantity left and they're like in the process of retiring them. And look at this guy. This guy's got straw hands. He's like, what is this? Why is this on here? Why? Okay, I get the gun. Okay, that makes sense. But then they just, like, why? Okay. Anyways, that's peculiar. Cool, so he just, like, squats down like that. Let's bring it down. Let's see if I can get a close-up. Cool. Hold up! And then they're, like, in hiding in the bushes somewhere. This is going to come in handy for my... so I'm doing like a historical video next. That's like the big one that I want to do. And it's going to be on the Battle of Bloody Gulch. So the 101st Airborne. And so 506th Battalion, Parachute Infantry Regiment. That was shortly after the Battle of Carentan. The soldiers took a position. They ventured out to expand their perimeter. And then they ran into... the rest of the paratroopers and the Panzer division that was hiding, the 17th SS Panzer Division and the 6th Parachute Infantry Regiment, the Fallschirmjäger Regiment. And this guy had straw hands too. He had just like an extra, like, there was like an extra of, like, what was that on his boot or something? Like, I don't even get the logic behind any of this. But anyway, so this is the close-up of, so this is the 82nd Airborne. That's the patch, the unit patch for the 82nd. And you know what's peculiar about the American flag? Nowadays, I see uniforms with the stars on the front. But then I looked at uniforms from like 44 and like that era, and I saw flags like this where the stars were in the back. I don't know which is correct, but, you know, I would have to, like, a decision was made at some point about that, right? So somebody made a decision on that. So cool. Here's the trio close up. That's awesome. These were much better than. First of all, they're in really good shape because they're used. They don't have the box set, and so I'm going to use them for the Battle of Bloody Gulch reenactment. Because I don't have a lot of like paratroopers. I have like a handful of paratroopers. Here, I'll show you guys. I have a handful of paratroopers. And something that I wanted to point out in the last unboxing video is that there are not a lot of like prone position troopers, which is really, really frustrating because for Battle of Bloody Gulch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, I don't know if you guys have seen my other silly little like action videos that I made. By the way, this is a massive box. Look at this box. Huge box for 3 little guys. But anyways, safety, right? I'm going for safety here. Oh, I got a crack of seltzer. I'm thirsty. Nothing but the Market Basket finest. Gotta crack me. I'm thirsty. I've been eating peanuts all day. Unboxings make me thirsty. All right, so we got our paratroopers here. Sweet. They will lie in wait in ambush. So I was finishing up. I was saying as I opened this last box here, I don't know what's in here, but I have a suspicion. I have a suspicion that it is a parcel from China. And all right, let me wrap up my Bloody Gulch story. But I need paratroopers that are like in the prone position because they have to hide in the hedgerows, right? Because the Battle of Bloody Gulch took place in a hedgerow, and there was a lot of like prone kind of firing and with machine guns and stuff, and like people were on the ground shooting. So, oh, this is a tank. Oh yes. Oh my God, this is This is heavy. And it's like, it's metal, I think. It's like, I don't, what is this? Yeah, it's metal. I feel like this is metal. This is plastic. So this is a Panzer IV. Panzer IV. Panzer IV, no, it's plastic. It's plastic. Okay. So guys, if you need to like bolster your like beautiful tank collection, I got this on eBay from like a Chinese company, and I think they 3D print these, and I don't know if they hand paint them themselves, but this is sturdy. It's like hefty. It's 130 scale. It's a Panzer IV, and it's only like $60 compared to like, I don't want to say anything against King Country, but those tanks are like crazy expensive. Like some Sherman tanks are like $500-$600, and you know, same with the Panzers, the Panzer models. But this thing, look at this. This thing is incredible. Oh my God! It's got like bullet holes or something. It's got wear and tear, rust on the joints and the links. Oh, let's look at side by side scale. I have a Ultimate Soldier model, which is 132 scale. So here we are, as I put this thing together myself, and I butchered it, unfortunately. These little clips here that's supposed to clip in, yeah, most of them broke because I kind of like, I tried to force it. So now the tank doesn't turn very well. But I mean, it's, you know, it's fairly cheap. This is like $30. This costs $60. But it is, I mean, look at the detail on this. Incredible. Anyways, I'm talking way too long about this tank. Way too long. So since this is, my rule is always end with, you know, an infantry model. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So I'm going to get another box and see what's in that box. And bear with me. Here we go. So something interesting happened in my, let me take a sip. So this last unboxing video I did, people were really excited about it, I guess, because I don't know why. Oh, okay. This is King and Country. This, I know what this is. This is a Schwimmwagen. It's a German Schwimmwagen. It's made by Audi. No, I don't know who made it. I mean, could be. You never know. Could be Audi, right? I mean, Porsche used to make Tiger engines, right? I think. Volkswagen used to make cars for the Wehrmacht. I mean, everyone. BMW, Bayerische Motorwerke. Yeah, I speak a little German. Yeah, look at this. Nice. It's a little Schwimmwagen. Yeah. Ach du lieber, look at this Schwimmwagen. It's so nice. Just want to take it for a ride. And this must be the figurines that go in here. Cool. This guy is missing part of his body because that's all he needs, I guess, to drive, right? So would he be driving on this? No, of course not. It's not a British wagon, right? Am I right, Britain? You guys are crazy driving on the left side of the road. And this guy's got a gun. He's fully grown here, fully grown person. Where does he sit? He sits like kind of like on the edge, I think, somewhere. I don't know where he sits. Is that his butt print right there? Is that right? It's kind of floating now. I don't know. guy's like, hey. All right. Says something. Whatever you would say, you know, if you were driving a Schwimmwagen. This guy's got a bent MP40 here. And they also call him Schmeisser, right? That's how growing up in my country, that's what we called them always when we were kids and we played. Like, dude, guys, who remembers the toy guns from childhood, from like the 80s and 90s? Am I right? Like, we used to have, I remember growing up, we used to have these like super realistic looking weapons that today would never be allowed. You'd probably get shot walking around with those nowadays. I don't know where to put this guy. Is this guy just kind of standing there? Like, what's the deal here? Or is he in the back? Has he got one foot up on the side here? I don't know. There's some configuration that works here. I don't know what that would be. Is he sitting on the propeller? Probably not. Probably unsafe. Anyways, the German Schwimmwagen. There we go. Get into the new 1945 Schwimmwagen. Get the fresh air when you ride into battle with your homies. Okay, that's enough of that. I've insulted enough nationalities. Speaking of which, I pulled this guy out. So this guy was in the last unboxing, and I said some really, really mean things to this model. And it turns out that this is a very special person, especially to British people. His name is some Bard Kingdom Brunel or something like that. And apparently he's like an inventor, visionary, engineer, lived in Britain. And truthfully, I had no idea who that was. I just, when I was browsing and looking for models on eBay, I just thought the character looked interesting. And, you know, maybe my comments were a little unkind, but, you know, I'm just talking about the model. Obviously, nothing to do with the real person. So my hat's off to the gentleman here who invented bridges, and maybe he built, like, you know, important structures. I don't know. I haven't looked it up super deeply. I just looked up his name. I saw the comments. So apologies to Mr. Isambad Brunel, Kingdom Brunel. That's an interesting middle name. Anyways, so he was an important British dude. So apologies. So here's our unboxing haul. We have the Schwimmwagen, and this Panzer IV is not part of it. Okay, we have this Chinese made 130 scale beautiful Panzer IV, which you will see in the Battle of Bloody Gulch when that happens, as well as these fellas from the 82nd, although we're going to pretend they're from the 101st Airborne. Again, apologies. I don't have enough 101st Airborne guys to do the whole battle. And basically, it'll be like a war reenactment. It'll be like, you know, just like, I don't know if you've seen my other action-style movies, but it'll be that. Hopefully, a little bit better. But it'll be like more action and like reenacting the battle and like some history lessons that go with it. Anyways, let's keep on going. So the next thing that I wanted to do is show you guys some of my Del Prado collection. And so let's get into that real quick. So let me just set up and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so here we go. We're gonna show off a couple of the Prado guys. So I selected 15 right now from my collection. I have a ton more, but I think if I showcased all of them, this video would take like 5 hours. So we're not gonna do that. So I picked 15 just kind of at random, and we're gonna show them off, and I'm gonna read a couple of facts from history, which I think are pretty interesting. So here's the 15 right here. Right there. 15 soldiers. The Prado has such a wonderful mix of different types of soldiers. It's so awesome. And don't laugh, but I actually prepared notes because I have to use my screen to make sure that I'm recording the right thing. So let's bring it on down. And I got my little fancy little salad spinner right here. And so we're going to start with this guy here first. This is a Stormtrooper from 1916. I really love this model. It feels, obviously, like the sculpt maybe is not super precise but I don't know what it is. Like the colors, it feels like heavy, and it's kind of a sturdy model, and I really, really like it. So stormtroopers are German, basically stormtroopers, right? Like, so Sturmtruppen. They were used in basically to assault enemy positions, and they used grenades, pistols, machine guns, whatever they had on hand to just take down the enemy. Obviously, high casualty rates, right? I mean, that would be very. So this is a warrant officer, so it's like a junior rank, a junior officer. So really cool model. I really love that. And next up, we have our major of the Panzer divisions. Okay, this is a little German heavy up front. I think I'm front loading like 4 German models right from the beginning. Let me bring that a little closer. Bring the center of that a little bit. Here we go. So yeah, so Panzer division guy, huh? So this particular one is from 1943, Panzer divisions. And so they fought in key battles, and like at Kursk, which was the largest tank battle in history. And majors oversaw coordination of armor, infantry, and artillery and mobile warfare. So like blitzkrieg type, which the Germans were, super famous for. And German armor was increasingly outproduced by the Allies, So they were kind of like, sort of started to phase out towards the end of the war when Germany had limited resources. But it's a really cool model. I mean, again, this is one of the older style Del Prados. You can tell. I got to take a little sip here. I'm thirsty. It's been a long day, guys. All right, so Panzer Commander. And moving right along to the next German guy. So this is an Obergefreiter from, I think this is Cavalry Regiment from Germany in 1941. So this is early pattern uniforms here. I don't know how accurate this is, but this is some kind of a, so this is a like a private kind of Obergefreiter, which I think is like corporal. I think that's corporal rank. So reconnaissance. That's what it is. Reconnaissance. Yeah, so reconnaissance regiment. So there were, so this guy would have been in action in at Operation Barbarossa on the Eastern Front, and so obviously, reconnaissance. You scout out, you find the enemy, you report, or whatever, you engage as needed. So that was he would have been part of the German invasion. So early pattern uniform here. Again, I'm not sure how accurate this is. I know this little flag here on the side of the helmet is fairly common. You see that a lot in those helmets. And next up, we have another German guy. We have a military police guy. So this is a Feldwebel, and I think this is like a sergeant maybe or something. Oh yeah, like a senior NCO rank. And this is from 1944. So I don't know how much business he'd be doing at that point. I guess probably just like policing retreats and whatnot, and probably doing some. I don't know how heavily involved the military police was in like war crimes and stuff at the time. I know the SS definitely was. So definitely not. But probably just directing movement and making sure people obey the law, following the German army laws. Cool model. I really like the German models are really cool. And again, these are all like the old style, because the old style Del Prado figures have this rectangular tan base. That's how like that was sort of like their earlier generation of soldiers. And this is a captain of tanks. So this is France. This is a French captain. And this, I guess this pattern here, this uniform would have been 1939 to 1940. I mean, we know that France was out of the war super early. After Poland, Germany turned right around and blitzkrieged the crap out of France as well. They drove right around the Maginot Line and basically outmaneuvered the entire French army. And that battle, I guess, was anticipated to take a much longer time, the war against France, because France was one of the key players in World War I. they're one of the key countries that were resisting and opposing Germany. But that was not to be. It's one of those things, when you prematurely optimize something. So they thought that they could just build a huge wall. They could build just like a line of basically a line of cannons and defensive positions against an army that was basically inventing a new style of warfare. I mean, how could you possibly anticipate that? And Ford famously said that, like, if I had listened to people, then they would have wanted faster horse buggies or something like that, something to that effect. So I guess you can't always go with the trend. You have to kind of be, you have to try to break the rules, break the trends, especially like in military technology, because you just never know what will await you. So after Captain of Tanks, we have military police from the 9th Air Force. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, comments section, people, not chat. But the Air Force used to be attached to the U.S. Army back in the 40s. I think the Air Force didn't become its own branch until later. It was sort of becoming a branch right around World War II. I'm not 100% sure. Please don't quote me on that. But this is an MP, right? So this is an MP. Let me look at my notes here. What's interesting about these? The 9th Air Force supported Allied ground forces in Normandy and beyond with tactical air power. MPs ensured secure movement of men and supplies through France, managing POWs and traffic for the fast-moving front. Yeah, I guess that would be pretty important, right? Moving, because there was a ton of surrendering people. It must have been logistically such a nightmare to deal with, like, surrendering masses of troops. It must have been so hard to deal with that. And so anyways, this is our 9th, and he's using here what looks like an M1 carbine. All right, so it's fired pistol rounds, fired 9mm rounds. So it was like a short to medium range weapon, and had, obviously more accurate than a pistol because of the longer barrel, but not expected to, be kind of like combat type stuff, operations. Next, we have moving into Napoleonic era stuff. Look at this model. This is a beautiful model. I just love the bright colors. Really, the Napoleonic pieces are so fantastic. Really, they are. I mean, people didn't understand camouflage back then at all. I mean, it's like they were trying to get hit. I mean, look at this guy. This looks like one of those like security sensors in the front here. You know what I'm talking about? Those like little, when you those stickers, those like security stickers you put on stuff so that people don't walk out of them. That's what that looks like. It's like if you like walked through the department store, it probably set off the alarm. But I mean, bright, flashy colors. A lot of uniforms at that time were like that. And it's all about like this very gallant, kind of mentality that people had. Very distinctive colors. It wasn't until like, I think like the British started kind of implementing some, let me read a little bit of history about this guy. But the British kind of started with like the 95th rifles, right? They had like the green jackets. That was, I feel like that's kind of like starting out cavalry, right? Sorry, not cavalry, starting out camouflage, to blend in with your surroundings, because light infantry fought very differently from line infantry. They had more accurate weapons. They participated in skirmishes and harassment, so they were they were kind of like a precursor to modern infantry. So you fought in cover, you fought spread out, you didn't march in columns. But yeah, so the Spanish cavalry retained flamboyant uniforms like plumed helmets and lances, even in the early 20th century. That's probably not very smart. By 1911, they were largely ceremonial, but also served in colonial campaigns in North Africa. Interesting. 1911, so this is pre-World War I. Yeah, I guess so. Military technology was advancing at the time, right? So you you know, they were really still kind of hanging on to this unit, kind of marched closed formations combat for a while there. Really, I mean, World War I turned everything upside down, right? World War I was, it just turned everything on its head because of machine guns and all the different types of technologies that came out at the time. All right, Panzer Grenadiers. This is one I know a little bit about. So mechanized. So Panzer Grenadiers were basically mechanized infantry, and they usually rode in armored vehicles supporting tank assaults, and they were sort of specialists. So they were, you know, they come out of their vehicles and they provide additional firepower. They protect tanks in sort of urban environments. You kind of make sure there's no threats to the tanks, because tanks were very expensive at that point. You know, even in as early as 93, tanks were already becoming sort of in short supply, because the Russians were just outproducing the crap out of the Germans with the T-34s, just throwing so many on the front that the Germans couldn't keep up. And so Panzer Grenadier, Stalingrad was a brutal massacre. I read a book on Stalingrad, and one of the things that always stuck in my head, besides the horrific descriptions and firsthand accounts of the battle in the city itself, but accounts of the conditions that the men were living in, is just horrific. Just talking about, you know, clumps of lice like attached to their face. You know, just no food, no supplies of any kind. They were completely encircled, and then basically starved to death. You know, they and you know, of course, Hitler forbade them to surrender. And I forgot the name of the commanding officer, the German commanding officer. I don't recall it now, but basically he at one point it was just like, I'm just giving up. I have no way to continue fighting. So the Germans ended up surrendering. They lost something like, you know, the German army basically gave up 250,000 men towards the end there. I don't know how many actually. I mean, a lot of them died before they ever got home. But yeah, so here we see him actually with a Russian. This is a Russian weapon, and I don't recall the name of this weapon right now. It doesn't. I knew it. It's not coming to mind right now. But you know, it's got the drum magazine. It's a close combat weapon. And I guess it was common for soldiers to pick up whatever weapons they had available. This particular soldier here has winter gear on, at least winter camouflage. So yeah, horrific period. A humiliating defeat for the Germans. And for, honestly, I believe, and many historians believe, this was the turning point for the war. After that, really, I mean, most of the best men had been lost. And it was just basically a struggle for survival at that point. All right, moving on. So this is a trumpeter from Austrian Hussars, 1805. Austrian Hussars. Look at this. Look at this beautiful model. So he's got his trumpet. He's got his cavalry saber. He's got his jacket, which this was kind of like, I guess, a very common way for like a stance. You put the jacket on one side. Again, the flamboyant colors. I mean, the red and the green. I mean, this looks like something out of like the North Pole. This guy looks like a nutcracker almost. So what do I know about these guys? So I personally don't know much about it, but luckily the internet knows that Hussars were. I mean, I knew they were light cavalry, but they were used for scouting and skirmishes. Anybody here play Napoleon Total War? I'm sure many of you have, and that's one of the things that drew me to a lot of these Del Prado figures, because I love that game, and maybe it's the other way around, who knows. But trumpeters signal charges and retreats. In 1805, Austrian cavalry clashed with Napoleon's forces in Ulm and Austerlitz. Yeah, so Austerlitz was a famous battle against Napoleon, which I believe he won. I believe Napoleon won that battle. But that's cool, yeah. So they would signal, you know, charge, retreat. So they were part of the communication lifeline of the battlefield, because I'm sure things got very chaotic in those old style battlefields. Next up, we got This is a sharpshooter from the 2nd Light Battalion, the King's German Legion of 1815. So King's German Legion, so basically they were like expatriate Germans that fought under British command, and they fought against Napoleon. Now, of course, there was also the Prussians at the time, the Austrians, which were, Germanic, but there was there was a full legion of German expatriates that fought under British command, and they wore these beautiful jackets here. So sharpshooter, so indicating light infantry, right? So light infantry was used to skirmish with the enemy because they had these very long range rifled muskets. I don't know. I'm pretty sure by 1815 they had rifling in the muskets. So rifled muskets could go anywhere between 200 to 300 yards. And I go over a little bit of this in my other Del Prado video where we talk about the Dutch-Belgian light infantrymen. So this is sort of like the same idea. Light infantry was kind of becoming a thing at the time. Not great at close combat because they weren't really equipped for that, but they were equipped for moving very quickly and harassing the enemy at range. Beautiful model, though. I really like this model. And the British uniforms are just gorgeous. Like all the British uniforms of that time, unbelievable. I mean, it's just like they're so. I don't even know. It's like very quintessential. I don't know how to explain it, but they're just very, very fashionable, I guess I would say. I don't know. It's like when you think of like, Napoleonic era and you think about like British infantry, immediately the image comes to mind. The red coats, the beautiful white belts and all the stuff that goes with it, the black hats with the cords and the plumes and all that stuff. Just beautiful, beautiful models. The Prado has such a huge variety. I'm surprised. Like I feel like nobody knows about them. A lot of people ask me like, who makes these guys? And I discovered these guys by accident. Let's bring this down a little bit. So this is a female sniper from the Soviet Union of 1943. And it was, this lady here was immortalized in miniature because female snipers actually were predominant, snipers in Russia predominantly were female. And many of the best snipers were female, surprisingly. So you have like Ludmila Pavlichenko. She became legendary. She had like some crazy amount of kills. And in 1943, they played crucial part. I'm sure we've all seen Enemy at the Gates with Jude Law and some other very famous British actors. And you see British snipers in that as well. They were very good at what they did. I think Ludmilla killed something like 500 people, and then like the next best guy, which was a male sniper. I mean, there's Vasily Zaitsev, of course. Everyone knows Vasily Zaitsev, but there was like another guy, and he had something like 300 kills or something. I don't remember the exact counts. Anyway, female snipers, superb at sniping people. Next, we have a cadet of the Imperial Guard. French troops also, just beautiful uniforms. I used to, when I was little, I had these, my cousin gave me these old guard plastic soldiers. I don't remember the brand. I was very little. But that was one of the key moments in my life where I became fascinated with toy soldiers. And they were French, and they had similar uniforms like this. But they had the top, I mean, the old guard has the top, the cylindrical hats. And there was like maybe 10 of those guys that I had, and I must have played with them that entire summer when I got them. It's just such a beautiful figurine, Such a great set piece to have on your shelf, right? I mean, it's just like a quintessential Napoleonic soldier with the guard holding the rifle. Just awesome. Cadets, basically, Imperial Guard was an elite reserve unit, right? He only used them when he absolutely had to, and he rarely committed them. He only when he needed like when he needed to seize victory, when he needed to tip the balance at a particular moment, he would use the imperial, his imperial guardsmen, and cadets represented young officers in training, basically. So this guy would have been in training, and this must be his like cadet uniform. And people joined because of the prestige. I mean, it afforded you social status. It afforded you, I'm sure it was very popular with the ladies to say that you were an Imperial Guardsman or part of the old guard, or there was also the young guard, right? So they were probably training to become the old guard. I don't know what the survival rates were like, because, I mean, Napoleon went to war a lot. So probably not a fun time to be in France at the time. You'd be off on battles all the time. And this guy is, what is this? This is an officer of the Royal Horse Guards of 1800. And I think this is also France. And the Royal Horse Guards, the blues, not French. I'm sorry, the blue uniform confused me. These are Britain's household cavalry. So in 1800, they embodied aristocratic tradition, serving both in combat roles and ceremonial duties for the crown. Okay, so I wished that I knew enough about these uniforms to immediately be able to say, okay, this guy's from Britain versus, okay, this guy's from France, because obviously there's some similarities. Obviously, the boots here let you know that this is cavalry, right? So that's not up for debate, but you have the white belts. This one obviously a little bit more adornment. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just looking at this figure. I would say it could either be British or French, as far as I can tell. And they got this bicorn hat here with the side to side, which was an interesting style choice back then. So prestigious horse guard. Guard units in general, I think in the old times were very prestigious. Actually, we have, what's next here? The Bersaglieri Battalion. So this is Italian. This is an Italian soldier from 1944. And so Bersaglieri were elite Italian light infantry known for speed, marksmanship, and distinctive plumed helmets. So we see the plume right there. 1944, after Italy's armistice, some Bersaglieri fought alongside the Allies, while others served in German aligned units. Interesting. So they were kind of split up. Some went one way, some went the other way. That's interesting. I wonder who this guy was with. Hey, who do you work for? Yeah, cool. I thought this was a really interesting model. I've been looking on eBay for like Italian forces models, because I kind of want to build that up a little bit. I want to build my collection to go along with my Africa Corps collection, so I can have silly battles in my backyard and, record it and put it on YouTube. But yeah, cool. So yeah, Italy was quite a mess back then. And here we have a radio operator, a Marine radio operator from 1966. When I got this model, I was wondering if this model was maybe bent, because he looks very askew. Does he look very askew? I feel like he looks very, very askew. But so this is a Marine with early pattern equipment. So that's an M14 right there. Early pattern. So 1966, I think the conflict in Vietnam started in 1955 for the Americans. The French were there before. And that whole part of the world has been kind of a debacle for a long time. And then America arrived, and things didn't go very well, unfortunately. But yeah, so this is, again, nice, beautiful model. I really like that. And next we have an SS officer from the Mountain Division. So these guys, SS guys, obviously not good guys. To be in the SS basically meant you were kind of a butthole. The SS was an independent unit, and they didn't start out as a military unit in the beginning. They were sort of Hitler's personal henchmen. And when the war broke out, they started getting organized into divisions. But so typically the Wehrmacht was under command of like a person, like a high-ranking officer, whereas the SS was directly answering to Hitler. So yeah, so the mountain divisions, like the 7th SS Prince Eugen, specialized in rugged terrain warfare in the Balkans. So Balkans, so right around like Yugoslavia and Bulgaria and Romania, parts of it probably. In 1944, they conducted brutal anti-partisan campaigns, gaining a reputation for both effectiveness and atrocities. Oof. Yeah, like I said, they were not very friendly. Yeah, so they were fanatic. Most of the SS guys were pretty fanatic. So, not a friendly bunch. Anyways, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this little showcase. If you want to see more of these, I have literally, I don't even know how many I have. I have maybe another 70 or 80 guys up there. And I think if I showcased all of them, it would literally take so long. But something fun I'm planning to do is a big, like huge unboxing for Christmas. I know that's a couple months away, but I want to stockpile a whole bunch of King and Country stuff and then open it all up. I want to gift wrap it all and treat it like Christmas. I want to sip some hot cocoa and eat some cookies, and I'm going to unbox a bunch of soldiers, and I'm going to make it feel like Christmas. I'm super excited for that. So anyways, thanks for watching, and really appreciate the support. And I'll see you guys next time.